Hello students, I welcome you to this session of refrigeration and air conditioning. In this lecture, I will discuss one of the method of producing the refrigeration, which is called as steam jet refrigeration system. Okay, so as the name illustrates, here we utilize water as a refrigerant to produce the refrigeration or the cooling effect. Right now, all of you are aware of the fact that at atmospheric pressure equal to 1.01325 bar. Okay, water boils at 100 degrees Celsius. Okay, water boils at 100 degrees Celsius. Okay, if how by some means, if I reduce this pressure, okay, if I reduce this pressure to a value equal to 0.01 bar, okay, in some controlled condition, right, then the water starts boiling at a very low temperature of the order of 4 degrees Celsius. Okay, so the same principle is applied over here in the steam jet refrigeration system. Okay, so we have a surface of water, okay, and over that surface of water, if the temperature is atmospheric, as I told you, the water will boil at the temperature equal to 100 degrees Celsius. But if by some means, if we keep this pressure of the water as very low, of the order of 0.01 bar, okay, then the water starts boiling at a temperature of 4 degree Celsius, right. So let us see what are the main parts of this steam jet ejector refrigeration system. Okay, so here as you can see, similar to that in the conventional vapor compression refrigeration system, here we also have the evaporator, which is also known as the flash chamber over here. Okay, so we have a evaporator or the flash chamber, okay, and then we have the condenser, as you have seen there in the vapor compression refrigeration system. Okay, and here as you can see, instead of the mechanical compression system where we have cylinder and piston arrangement, okay, in the VCRS cycle, in a reciprocating compressor, those are powered by some mechanical power. Okay, but instead of this one, these are actually the heat driven kind of the refrigeration system, that is compression of the vapor takes place by means of the heat. Okay, right. So as you can see that water is used as a refrigerant. Water, you know that it is a very safe refrigerant. It does not cause any global warming or ozone depletion. Okay, so it is pretty safe to operate, very reliable and very rugged in construction. Okay, so let us now understand the working of the steam jet refrigeration system. Okay, right. So here as you can see, we have a steam boiler, okay, in which the steam is generated and the pressure is of the order of 8 bar, right. Okay, now steam that is generated at this very high pressure, okay, is allowed to enter through the control valve, that is we can control the flow rate of the steam with the help of control valve. Okay, and then it passes through this pipeline, and finally as you can see over here that we have a nozzle over here. Okay, so with the help of this nozzle, as you can see that the pressure energy of the steam is converted into kinetic energy. Okay, so at the exit of this nozzle, the pressure of the steam reduces to the very low value. Okay, and consequently the velocity of the steam becomes very high, right? So sometimes the velocity becomes so high that the flow becomes the supersonic at the exit of this nozzle, right? Now here we have the steam which is coming at very high velocity, right? And side by side, let us now look at the function of this flash chamber or the evaporator. Okay, so first of all, I told you that temperature of this water is of the order of 4 degrees Celsius. Let us assume. Okay, now this cold water, okay, is allowed to pass through this cold water pump. Okay, by means of pump, this cold water is supplied to the space which is required to be cooled. Okay, or the air conditioning plant. Okay, where there you can say some cooling requirement is there. Okay, so as you can see over here that we are using water as a refrigerant, so we cannot go below the temperature of 0 degree Celsius. Okay, we can go at most to the lower level of 4 degree Celsius. Okay, that's why this system is used in the uh, air conditioning applications. Okay, right? So I was telling you that this cold water is supplied by means of the pump to the space which is required to be cooled. Okay, and after absorbing the heat from the space to be cooled, okay, or the some refrigerated space which is there, okay, the water becomes hot, and this warm water again is returned by means of some pipeline to the finally uh, flash chamber. Okay, now when the water comes over here, as you can see, this is the tray where we have the number of nozzles over there. Okay, so water comes out in the form of very minute droplets from these nozzles. Okay, and this water is moving in the downward direction, right? Okay, now as I told you in the previous few minutes that the velocity of the steam at this part is very high, so consequently the pressure over here becomes very low. Okay, right? Now this water droplet which are coming out of the nozzle in the minute particle form is comparatively at a higher temperature as compared to the water which is over here. Okay, and the water starts converting into the vapor. Okay, and you know that for water droplets to convert into steam, it requires heat actually. Okay, so the water particles that are required to be converted into vapor, okay, takes the heat from the water which is there in the flash chamber. Okay, right? So these water particles, when it absorbs the heat from the water which is there in the flash chamber, okay, the particles gets converted into vapor, whereas the temperature of this water becomes very low, and some part from the top portion of this liquid level or from this water level also evaporates and gets converted into vapor. Okay, right? Now this vapor is comparatively at a very low velocity, okay, and it is at a higher pressure as compared to that at the exit of the nozzle. Okay, so due to the low velocity condition, okay, these vapor gets entrained along with this steam which is coming over here. Okay, so there will be the mixing of the vapor that is coming from the flash chamber or the evaporator with the steam that is coming out from the nozzle. Okay, so these two mix together in a mixing chamber. There is some mixing chamber over here, okay, where the mixing takes place at the constant area. Okay, there is some portion of in this you can say whole ejector assembly where the part is of constant area. Okay, so the steam and the vapor mix with each other at constant area. Okay, and when they come out of this constant area section, which is called as the mixing chamber, okay, right, when it comes out of the mixing chamber, then it enters into the diffuser section of the ejector, right. So as you can see from the construction itself, that the ejector has some converging portion, okay, then we have some constant area section, and after that we have some diverging section, okay, right. So the part is first, as I told you, where you have the uh, steam coming out of the nozzle, okay, and the vapor is entering into this one. This is called as the suction chamber in a ejector, okay. The part where the mixing of steam with the vapor takes place, right, this is, as you can see, the portion is called as the mixing chamber. And finally that part of the ejector where the increase in area and consequently change of velocity again into the pressure will take place, okay. So in this diffusing section, as you can see over here, we have the increase in the area, right. Consequently kinetic energy is converted into pressure energy again, and pressure reaches to a value equal to that of the condenser, right, okay. So here, as you can see, that these systems are usually heat driven, okay. We are not having any moving part in this ejector system. This is one of the uh, primary advantage of this kind of the refrigeration system, right, okay. Then steam along with the vapor enters into the condenser, right. So in a condenser we again supply some water from the cooling tower to convert the steam and vapor mixture back into the water, okay. And then with the help of this pump, the water is again supplied to the boiler over here, right, okay, right. So I hope this part is clear to all of you, okay. And as I told you previously just now, that some part of the water gets evaporated, okay, in the flash chamber because of a very low pressure over here, okay. So there will be actually some decrease in the water level, okay. To make up for that, we supply some makeup water through another pipeline, as you can see over here, okay. So then the water is supplied as a makeup water to again restore the liquid level back to its original value, okay, right. So this is, as you can see, we have the complete working of this steam jet refrigeration system. It is actually steam jet ejector refrigeration system because we are utilizing here ejector as a mean to raise the pressure of the vapor from evaporator level to condenser level, right. Now this kind of system, as I told you, has some of the advantages: no mechanical part, okay, water as the refrigerant, which is very safe, okay, system being totally reliable, okay, no global warming due to water as a refrigerant or no ozone depletion, okay. These are some of the advantages, okay. And apart from that, disadvantage that we cannot go beyond the 4 degrees Celsius, okay. And the size of the flash chamber required is also very high because the specific volume here is very low at a low pressure of 0.01 bar, right. As far as its usage is concerned, it is used in paper industry, textile industry, breweries, etc, okay. So I hope this lecture on steam jet refrigeration system is clear to all of you. Thank you for this lecture.